You're about to pick your cat, and without knowing it, you might already be making a mistake that will follow you for the next 15 years. Most people choose based on photos, on cuteness, on that gut feeling in the shelter when a pair of eyes lock onto yours. But here's what nobody tells you before you sign those adoption papers. Your cat's coat color is not random decoration. It is a biological signal, a map written into their fur that tells you exactly how they experience the world, how they bond, what they fear, what they need, and whether your lifestyle is actually a match. Researchers have spent years studying thousands of cats, and the patterns they found are striking enough that experienced veterinarians, shelter workers, and behaviorists can often predict a cat's behavior before they ever touch the animal, just from looking at their coat. Miss these signals now, and you'll spend years confused about why your cat acts the way it does. Understand them, and everything changes. So before you bring anyone home, you need to watch this. And if you want more content like this, videos that actually explain what your cat is doing and why, make sure you subscribe right now. We have more coming that you are going to want to see. Number 1, the orange cat paradox. If you have spent any time on the internet, you already know orange cats have a reputation. But beneath all the memes, the science is genuinely fascinating. Researchers at the University of California, Berkeley conducted one of the largest studies ever done on cat coat color and behavior. They surveyed over 1,000 cat owners and found that orange cats scored higher on friendliness and affection than almost every other color group. They actively seek out contact. They initiate. They close the distance when most other cats would hold back. But that same study found something else buried in the data. Orange cats also scored significantly higher on impulsivity. They act without thinking. They leap before looking. They charge into situations that would make any other cat pause and reconsider. The reason goes deeper than personality quirks. The gene that produces orange fur is tied to the X chromosome, and because male cats only carry one X chromosome, they only need one copy of the gene to express orange coloring. That is why the overwhelming majority of orange cats are male. And male cats, on average, already tend toward bolder, more territorial behavior. When you layer the genetic profile of orange coloring on top of that existing tendency, you get a cat who craves constant contact, plays with full physical commitment, and acts before the thought has finished forming in their mind. You have almost certainly seen this. The deliberate shove off a shelf. The immediate eye contact after. The complete lack of remorse. That is not attitude. That is neurology. What this means practically is that orange cats form bonds that can feel almost overwhelming. They want to be near you, on you, following you between rooms, involved in whatever you are doing regardless of whether you invited them. The trick is giving that need somewhere specific to go. Create a designated together spot, a corner of the couch, a particular cushion on the bed, somewhere that belongs to them when they need to be close. They will begin going there automatically, and their constant contact energy becomes something predictable rather than something that catches you off guard. Number 2, what black cats are actually doing. Black cats have carried centuries of mythology, superstition, and undeserved reputation. What behavioral research actually shows is something far more interesting. A study published in the Journal of Applied Animal Welfare Science found that black cats were consistently rated as the most easygoing and tolerant of all coat colors. They scored low on aggression, low on fear, and high on adaptability. In shelter environments, which are objectively stressful, noisy, unpredictable places, black cats adjusted faster than cats of lighter coloration. They settled. They observed. They waited. That pattern has evolutionary roots. In the wild, darker-coated animals rely on stealth. Their survival strategy is built around watching, blending, staying unnoticed until the right moment. That wiring does not disappear in domestic cats. Black cats are observers by nature. They take in everything before they act. If yours sits quietly in a corner of the room cataloging everything that is happening without making a sound, that is not distance. That is assessment. That is their ancestral strategy showing up in your living room. The misread that happens constantly with black cats is that their calm gets interpreted as indifference. People assume that because a black cat is not demanding attention, they do not want it. But black cats bond deeply. They just do it in their own language. They are the ones who position themselves 3 feet away and stay there for hours. The ones who appear at the foot of your bed every night without announcement. The ones who follow you from room to room without making a sound. Try this with your black cat. Sit near them without initiating contact. Just exist in the same space. Over time, you will watch them drift closer entirely on their own terms. That quiet approach is how they communicate trust. Number 3. Why tortoiseshell cats choose one person and only one person. Veterinarians actually have a clinical term for it, tortitude. And if you have ever lived with a tortoiseshell cat, you did not need a study to tell you that the reputation is earned. Research from UC Davis surveyed nearly 1,300 cat owners and found that tortoiseshell cats were rated significantly higher on reactivity toward humans than solid-colored cats. More likely to hiss during handling. More likely to resist veterinary exams. More likely to swat when touched on their own terms rather than yours. They react without hesitation and without apology. The genetic explanation matters here. The tortoiseshell pattern requires two X chromosomes to express correctly, which means that the overwhelming majority of tortoiseshell cats are female. Male tortoiseshells exist, but are extraordinarily rare and almost universally sterile. You are living with a cat whose genetic makeup is unusually complex, and the coat pattern reflects exactly that complexity. They are not randomly difficult. They are built that way at a chromosomal level. What torties do with that intensity is form ferocious single-person bonds. They pick their human, they make the decision early, and they do not revisit it. If you are the chosen one, you will have no doubt about it. They follow you. They seek you specifically out of everyone in the household. Their attention has an almost possessive quality to it. If you are not the chosen one, they may look through you as though you are furniture. The key to deepening a tortie bond is responsiveness. When they vocalize, acknowledge them. When they approach, engage. Match their intensity, and watch how quickly they escalate the bond in return. Number 4. What gray cats are picking up on. Gray cats are quietly overlooked in almost every conversation about coat color and personality. They rarely appear in memes. They do not carry dramatic reputations. But that invisibility is itself revealing, because what gray cats consistently offer is something that genuinely standout colors rarely deliver: predictability. In behavioral studies, gray cats cluster in the middle of nearly every measured metric. Moderate affection, moderate playfulness, moderate anxiety. No dramatic peaks, no extreme valleys. What you see is generally what you are going to continue getting. But predictability is not the whole story. Behaviorists have noted repeatedly that gray cats seem to possess an unusual attunement to human emotional states. They are frequently the first cat in a multi-cat household to approach when their owner is upset. The first to position themselves quietly beside someone who is grieving. The first to offer presence without any demand attached to it. Most owners do not notice this happening. They assume the cat simply wandered over by coincidence. But the timing, across dozens of documented observations, tells a different story. If you are going through something difficult and your gray cat suddenly starts staying closer than usual, they are likely responding to changes in your body language, your posture, your routine, shifts that you may not have consciously registered yourself. For first-time cat owners or households with young children, gray cats often make the smoothest possible transition. They tolerate handling without escalating. They accept new routines without visible anxiety. They adapt without drama. That measured, consistent quality is underrated in a world that tends to reward the loudest personalities. Number 5. How white cats communicate when the world goes silent. White cats are visually striking, and that beauty carries something most owners discover only after they have already brought the cat home. Studies have documented that white cats, particularly those with blue eyes, have significantly higher rates of congenital deafness. The gene that produces white fur can interfere with the development of structures in the inner ear. Cats with 2 blue eyes are deaf in both ears at rates that researchers found alarming. Cats with 1 blue eye are frequently deaf on that side. Cats with orange or green eyes are less affected, but the risk remains. What deafness does to a cat's experience of the world is profound. A deaf white cat cannot hear you approach, cannot hear warning sounds, cannot distinguish between a calm voice and an urgent one, so they compensate with everything else available to them. They become hypervigilant to vibration. They read visual cues with a precision that hearing cats simply do not need to develop. They watch body language at a level of detail that can feel unsettling if you do not understand what is driving it. And this compensation is why white cats are often perceived as nervous, not because of any personality flaw, but because their sensory toolkit works differently than other cats. White cats also develop unusually intense bonds through physical touch. Because sound does not carry information for them the way it does for hearing cats, touch becomes the primary channel through which safety gets communicated. If you have a white cat who startles when you approach, the adjustment is simple: Approach from the front where they can see you. Stomp lightly on the floor a few steps before you reach them, so they feel the vibration first. These small shifts tell them you are coming before you are suddenly just there, and they make an enormous difference in how safe your cat feels every single day. Number 6. Reading a calico before they shift. Calico cats share the tortoise-shell genetic pattern, but the addition of white creates a personality profile that even experienced cat owners consistently underestimate. The white patches are caused by a gene that affects how pigment cells migrate during fetal development. That same gene appears to influence more than just color. Preliminary research suggests that cats with significant white markings may have different neural development patterns, because the pathways that guide pigment cells during development also guide nerve cells. The coat is not just decoration. It is a developmental map. What you experience living with a calico is a cat who processes and resets at a speed that feels almost disorienting until you understand it. They can shift from purring contentment to active protest in seconds, and back again just as fast. They move through emotional states without getting stuck in any single one of them. For some owners, this is maddening. For others, it becomes endlessly compelling. The key is learning to read the transition before it happens, because calicos always signal before they shift. A tail flick, an ear rotation, a subtle weight redistribution. These cues appear before the mood change, and if you catch them early, you can adjust your interaction and end things on a good note. Miss them, and the swat that follows will feel like it came out of nowhere, even though the warning was there the whole time. Number 7. The dilute cat's relationship with their environment. Dilute colors, the pale grays, soft creams, and muted blues, are created by a gene that reduces pigment intensity without changing the underlying color pattern. And behaviorists have noticed that the same gene seems to influence more than appearance. Dilute cats consistently show heightened sensitivity to environmental changes. They notice when furniture has been moved. They react to new sounds at thresholds other cats ignore. They pick up on shifts in household routine that seem invisible to everyone else in the home. The explanation that fits most consistently is that dilute cats have a lower baseline threshold for registering stimuli. They take in more information, and what happens next depends almost entirely on the environment they are living in. A dilute cat in a calm, predictable household becomes extraordinarily settled. They lean into routine with genuine contentment. They reward consistency with deepening affection over time. That same dilute cat in a chaotic, unpredictable household may hide, become noise reactive, or develop stress behaviors that puzzle their owner completely, because the environment is simply overwhelming their system. If your dilute cat seems anxious, the question worth asking is not what is wrong with your cat, but what does my household look like through their sensory experience? New construction sounds nearby. A visitor who stayed for 2 weeks. A changed work schedule that shifted their feeding time by 45 minutes. These register for dilute cats when they would not register at all for other coat colors. Creating even one completely predictable element, feeding at the exact same moment every day, a consistent morning routine, can produce a measurable shift in how settled they become. Number 8. What pointed cats are actually saying. Pointed coats, the pattern you see in Siamese and Siamese-influenced cats, are produced by temperature-sensitive pigmentation. The cooler areas of the body, ears, face, paws, tail, develop darker color because pigment production is more active at lower temperatures. The warmer core stays light. This is already a remarkable biological mechanism, but the behavioral tendencies that accompany pointed cats are what make them genuinely unlike any other category. Pointed cats vocalize. Constantly, specifically, and with obvious intention. Research on feline vocalization has established that cats meow primarily to communicate with humans rather than with other cats. Pointed cats seem to have developed this capacity far beyond what other coat types express. They meow to greet you, to register opinions, to inform you that their bowl is not full enough, or that you have been in another room for longer than they find acceptable. They have simply learned that sound produces results, and they deploy it without restraint. Underneath the vocalization sits something quieter and more significant. Pointed cats bond with a depth that behaviorists find consistent enough to treat as a trait of the coat type itself. They want proximity. They follow their person from room to room. Some researchers theorize that the genetic factors influencing pointed coat development may also affect social attachment systems, though the evidence is still building. What is not in question is the pattern. If your pointed cat narrates everything they do and follows you everywhere, talk back. The exchange itself seems to be the reward, regardless of what words are actually used. Number 9. What bicolor cats do when they know you are watching. Bicolor cats, tuxedos, magpies, the whole family of white plus one color combinations, carry the same white spotting gene that creates their pattern, and some researchers believe this migration pattern influences neural development in ways that show up later as personality differences. What shelter workers and experienced owners describe consistently is a cat with a performing quality. They play harder. Their stretches are more deliberate and elaborate. They seem aware of when they have an audience, and they respond to that awareness. Shelter staff consistently report that bicolor cats are more likely to approach cage bars when visitors walk past, more likely to make extended eye contact, more likely to engineer attention-getting behaviors, and then repeat exactly what worked the first time. They adapt based on feedback. They learn what makes you react, and they use that information. When your bicolor cat does something that makes you laugh, expect it again, not because cats plan ahead in a human sense, but because they are extraordinarily good at reading responses and adjusting accordingly. Number 10. The experiment you can run tonight. Here is something you can do tonight with whatever cat is already in your life, and it will tell you more about their coat color personality than anything you could read. Choose a moment when your cat is relaxed but awake, settled somewhere, eyes open, aware of you. Instead of calling them over, instead of reaching toward them, do nothing at all. Stay completely still and watch. An orange cat will almost certainly move toward you. Staying still feels like an unresolved situation to them, and they will close the distance. A black cat might glance at you, look away, and then over the next several minutes drift closer in a wide, casual arc, making it look like they were heading somewhere else entirely. A tortoiseshell will make an immediate decision. Either you are her person, in which case she comes without hesitation, or she has other things to attend to. A calico's attention will move toward you, get captured by something across the room, and return to you. Bursts of engagement with brief detours. A gray cat will match whatever energy you are giving off. Calm stillness tends to draw them closer. A dilute coat cat will assess the environment first, scan for anything that has changed, confirm everything is stable, and then consider you. A pointed cat will not wait at all. They will vocalize. They will announce their intentions, and possibly yours as well. A bicolor cat may turn the whole exercise into a production. The slow, deliberate walk, the calculated path, the pause to confirm you are absolutely watching. Notice what stays consistent across multiple sessions. Notice what shifts with mood and time of day. The pattern that holds steady is the coat speaking. And the more you tune into it, the more you realize your cat has been talking to you this entire time. You are just now learning the language. If this changed how you see your cat, or the cat you are thinking about bringing home, subscribe to the channel right now. We have videos coming on sleep positions, feeding behaviors, vocalization patterns, and what your cat does when you are not watching that will completely change how you understand them. Every video is built on research, not guesswork. Subscribe, and you will not miss any of it.